Hello, welcome to my show. My name's Patrick, and I'm going to finish off some topics I kind of started, and I'm going to go in this direction for a few other items. It's on the theme of toxing the environment, the food we eat from modern America, and we used to through the 70s and 80s. And really, some of the 80s up to like 1990, we had okay food, but there was a conscious effort. It was coordinated, and it's talking about now, because a lot of things they put in, like I said, estrogen, to make the teenagers docile, to make the men sterile, and make them less willing to stand up in a masculine way. They're feminizing the masculine to cause gender confusion. So they would get more like young boys confused, they want to be a girl, the transgender. And we talked about this a couple of years ago. The transgender is going to get bigger and bigger as not only an issue, but they've been doing it all along. And very well-known figures in Hollywood were transgender. Okay? So, let's just have some fun here, and don't get discouraged, all right? I know you can get depressed, but they're doing this because, especially when they put human meat, in our food supply, they do it they're trying to make you, metaphysically, that energy, they're corrupting you, obviously. And they want you to participate in a ceremony, a national, a global ceremony, that you accept Lucifer. And by eating little flesh trace elements, you agree to this, and you agree to what they're doing, like in the country, and what they're doing to the children in the schools, like with the Marxist ideology that they're pressing. And this will, obviously, more and more people, if I'm talking about it and other people are talking about it, is becoming a bigger and bigger issue. And then instead of a pebble being thrown into the pond, we're throwing huge boulders. And we're going to have an impact, because humanity is at that point of making a conscious choice and not being tricked. So we're going to have to consciously step back and say, no, we don't want to do this anymore. We want, so I think the one thing I wanted to get into, here's my can of tuna, great storage food for an emergency. 30 grams of protein is in this, and this is, as you know, I have two or three different measurements. One is, how is this food for humans? Regardless of what it is it edible? And usually anything over a 4, depending on what chart I use, anything over a 4 is edible, and anything below it is degrees of toxicity. And anything, so here we're going to go to this can of tuna, and this is like 275 to 310 depending, and it's now this is the best. This is for Starkiss, Bumblebee, and Chicken of the Sea. All right, so show me this as a food. This can, sterilized can, sitting on my shelf for humans. So I get like okay, it's 7 and a half, 8. Is that correct? Let's go back. Thank you. Okay, go do it again. Give me another measurement. Go right to it. Thank you. Almost an 8. Almost an 8. That's great for a food that's just sitting on your shelf in a can. It's an 8. That's really good. And this is in water, no salt added. And then it has all these, most of them are nonsense. But the ones that stuck out to me is non-GMO. Well, I hope so. I hope it's not corn in here. But the other one, gluten-free. I told you about gluten. Most people can handle gluten. And I'm actually looking for it because I cook, when I bake a loaf of bread, I put a tablespoon of gluten in it to make it more elastic, make it more fluffy and light. And I don't have any problems with it. Most people don't. You just have to know whether you're allergic to it or not. Soy free. Soy is. Could you give me soy, please? Soy. Could you soy for humans? The average human, not Japanese. Okay. As you can see, it's very toxic. It's under a 1. And about how many years will people feel to have a medical condition from it? Probably 3. Okay. In about 3 years. If you ate a lot of soy, you're gonna get sick eventually. And as you know, for the Japanese, it's a health food. It's like a 9.5 from Japanese, and for Asians like Chinese, it's a 4. So it's acceptable. But for whites and blacks, it's very toxic. Now, watch this. When you go into the fermentation process for soy and you come out with tempeh, let's say, show me tempeh, or another fermented type soy product, you turn, see that's 7.5. That is the vulture. That is the vulture. A vulture metaphysical energy is you turning toxic into something that's edible and actually good. And we just saw this is extremely toxic, and by fermenting it, fermentation, you get like 7.5 to 8. You get a decent, really good food. And that's what vultures do. They take something that is rotten, and if you get that in your cards ever, it's not bad. Vultures are not bad. And then I'm moving on. Okay, I was talking about here's my Starbucks I'm stuck with. I always thought it would be like a real good because I pay so much more money and I like it. But part of the problem, it's just like Marlboro cigarettes. They put things that are addictive, more so than the tar and nicotine. And they do the same. They put chemicals that are addictive, so you get addicted to. So you can't drink anything but Starbucks. Well, because they taint it. They taint it with addictive chemicals, and they taint it with poison. All right? This is consciously done. Now remember, Starbucks, Bill Gates, his father, was secretly involved in Starbucks. He was on the board, and he came over from also Planned Parenthood. Wow, see the connection? Same energy, and it showed up here. Now again, there's coffee, and there's the management and the employees, the philosophy. That's the most important measurement. But right now, we're just going to look at the content. So we're going to take all that energy out, and we're just going to focus on the energy of Starbucks French roast. Could you give me the energy for this? Go, the life force. So the life force is, there it is. And I did this with the pendulum, and it's showing up here as well with the dowsing rod. It's 0.75 of a star, 3/4 of a star. How many years would this make you sterile? Would this make you sterile? Yes. Let's go back. How many years until you start getting sick? If I drank 3 cups of coffee a day, how many years until I get sick? You get sick in about 4.5, 5 years. All right? And let's go back. And does this make you, is there estrogen in this? I just came to me. Is there estrogen? Yes, they threw some estrogen into it. Again, to make the males docile and the females, I don't know what. Have you seen men developing breasts and stuff? That's because they're consuming too much of, and it's not their fault. They don't know the food is toxic. And that's Senjazi here. Senjazi. The mother of Anu and Anki, who are no longer on this planet, and they did control it. One of them is a good brother and one's a bad brother. And this has been going, you read this for years. And anyways, that's who they put on it. That's who they serve. That's their master. It's not a mermaid. You got to think like them. And Bill Gates secretly invested in this, and they marketed it to the yuppies and basically made them docile. And they wear this really tight, have you seen the tight suits that don't fit? That's not fashion. Who'd wear that? Who'd wear a suit that doesn't fit? That's the new fashion, and I assume no one's, the suits are probably going out of style. No one's going to the office anymore. This is such a radical change we're going through. But when you know this is occurring, you know this shutdown is part of the story. The story is broad, and which makes Trump interesting. He knows about all this. He knows about it, and there's people behind him in the government. You almost call it his forces. I don't want to give it a name, but there are people who support him, and every day someone betrays him. Have you noticed that? It seems like a family member. He's not getting any breaks. This is not for the faint of heart. And so this is a really, really bad food. And then, and the management, show me the management, please. Show me the management. Show me the management. Show me the apostles and Jesus. Show me the apostles and Jesus. Okay, I just want to let you know. So that management team is it's way high. It's like 10, 9.5, 10. Now including the apostles. Show me the board of directors of Starbucks. Show me the, okay. It looks like a 0. These are Satanists. They do black blood ceremonies. And that's why the food they produce is bad. And they're looking for 2 things from you. One's metaphysical and one's actual medical. They're making you sick, docile. It affects your mind. You can't think clearly. And what's the number 1 issue there? Cutting you off from your higher self. Cutting you off from your higher self. And that's where every human being makes decisions coming in from the universe all the time. Thoughts and ideas are just coming through. The way they cut that off, you're not communicating. You don't even have a dialogue. If you have no dialogue with your higher self, you don't have dialogue with the Christ consciousness. All right? And so we get rid of that. And then I go to Safeway. Now Safeway is a big supermarket company in the United States. And they started making these O products. You see this O on it? And you go through the supermarket, it's a little O. And it means it's organic, and it's made by Lucerne. Lucerne is a Safeway company. And you always wondered, how can a supermarket make organic? You know, that's true. How can, so I was kind of cynical. So we know where Starbucks is. I pay for that bag. That's probably anywhere between $12 and $15 an ounce. Hello, can I help you? My dog is threatening me over here. He's yawning, and he's wondering. He wants me to. And this French roast, just like that. Could you show me the vibration, please? The life force, of this. It's about a 9, 8.5 to 9. Okay, 8.5 to 9, and that's this. This is $7.50 normally, and I think that size is almost 15. 14, 15, and I got this on sale today. I was so excited. So I'm going to test it and see if it tastes good. But it's actually just coffee. All right? So let's look at just this coffee. Go. Just this coffee. It should be the same. Yeah, okay. And that's the content. And that content is like 3/4 of 1 star, total toxic, because they added things. Is there anything added to this product here, organics? One back. No, because it says no. All right? And then this management team is a 4. I already did it. 4. What are you doing, Max? I'm working. Okay. Oh, don't get so weird. Don't. What are you doing? Oh, la, 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 la. Don't. Let me finish. I'm almost done. That reminds me, dog food. So, you know about Blue Buffalo. And we've done, the management team is very high. I forget what it was. But the food is very good. It outstrips all dog food. 90% of the dog food brands are terrible. They're really bad. Now, this is the tricky part. When you look at all foods that dogs consume, where's Blue Buffalo vibrationally? Well, it's a 4. It's barely acceptable. see what I'm saying? It's so much better to give your dog a piece of chicken than it is any dog food, including the superior Blue Buffalo, all right? So here we go. Show me Blue Buffalo on the whole spectrum of dog food. Oh, come on, what are you doing to me? The whole spectrum, not just on content only. Content, the whole spectrum. There we go. It's like 4.5. Let's call it 4.5, all right? It's 4.5. That's great. Show me a piece of a chicken breast, white chicken breast, if I give it to Max. It's 8. So Blue Buffalo, with all the other dog foods, is 8.5. And the next dog food they're all Eagle Pack is like 5 up to 6.5. That's it. And then there's a couple at 4, and then there's like 80 dog food brands that are at 2. And Purina is whatever, 1.5, and Old Roy is 0, half a star, because it's all corn. It's all, dogs can't eat corn. Humans should not eat corn. Only Native Americans should eat corn. All right, they have the metabolism to break it down and live off it during the winter months, which is 18 grams of protein in corn. And anyway, I wanted to be clear that you can probably do better than a superior dog food like Blue Buffalo if you made your own dog food. Or you can mix it. And for Max, he gets basically half Blue Buffalo, and then I just get some meat products, you know, what I eat or anything. I get fish on sale, or and that reminds me, for humans, what is the best food on planet Earth? Could you show me? I'm exaggerating, but here's a very good food. You'll live a long time. And I said this before. Show me. Let's get something bad. Okay, show me soy. For most humans beside Asians and Japanese. Show me soy. There it is. Okay, soy is half a star, whatever. Show me wild salmon from the ocean. It's like a 10. It's a 10. Now shark, and show me shark. Shark is a 7.5. All right. What's the other one? Show me a cod. Cod. Show me cod. The reason I'm going over this again, cod is about 9.5. Cod is excellent. Now, and the last thing is, show me farm raised salmon. Farm raised salmon. I already know it. It's 5. So it's 5. That's not bad, but it's like a fourth of the price. You know, the wild salmon, fresh, it's like $35 a pound. And you can get the farm for like 10, goes on sale for 7 where I am. And so it's really superior food. And it's very good for dogs. For dogs, it's 9.5 too. So if you give your animal, Max, some salmon, and it's probably the same for cats. Cats, give me salmon for cats. It hit me. It's like a 10 for cats. Give me a parrot. A parrot. Can they eat salmon? Yeah. Feel sorry for salmons because they're good for everyone. Now, this even is high what Fukushima did to the Pacific Ocean. It's still recommended because it understands that all foods are basically toxic on Earth right now. So you're just trying to minimize the toxicity, and we're trying to do it on a budget. Now, cottage cheese I mentioned the other day, and cottage cheese fermented. Again, all the fermented foods, we did it with soy. Do it with, okay, show me milk. Show me milk, regular milk. Wait a minute. For all human foods, milk. So if it's organic, it's like a 5-ish, whatever. And that's it for milk. But it's convenient. We drink milk because it's convenient, and it has a lot of protein and a lot of calcium. And if you buy certain milks, like that one I just told you, could you show me that one? I'm visualizing in my head the one that's produced locally. with all the estrogen in it. Yeah, that one's a 4. I mean a half a star. It's toxic because they add chemicals and they add estrogen. Could you show me? Okay, show me cottage cheese, which is a fermented product. Again, it's dairy. And look, you're changing this from a 5, organic, to a 9. So cottage cheese is real good. All the fermented products are pretty good. Now some of them have those little, you got to be careful about black magic. Some companies put it in. And that's what Starbucks does. It has black magic in it as well. That's who Bill Gates and his father is all about. And here's this product, Folgers, on the full spectrum of human food. It's like a 5. Do you see that? It's a 5. And that's that. So I wanted to show you, and show me this organic coffee. Where's coffee on the full spectrum of food with no chemicals? It's all right. It's like almost a 5.5, 6. All right. And then when I switch over to the other chart, all coffees, look where this one goes. All coffees, this is a 9. And this is just, I don't know what I'm going to do with this bag. I don't know what I'm going to do. So that's all that. And did I get everything I wanted to? Yes. So the theme is, during the 60s, 70s, and 80s, if you were growing up in that period, you probably got decent food, even if your parents were buying you mediocre quality food, because even then it's superior to our food right now. And basically it's done for 3 reasons. One, there's a lot of people on the planet, and we have to grow more food, and they have to use more chemicals. And that is up for debate, that whole discussion about, Monsanto to help grow all our food like wheat and things like that. And when the 1990s, when you douse it, you could see the quality just start going down. And it was both. It was both consciously done. And they wanted to make the people sick because you're docile and you're not going to fight back. And we're seeing that. We're seeing that the people have barely the energy to fight back in essentially this lockdown, that it's so massive and the spectrum is so wide. It's hard to get your head around what this is. Well, the main reason is the demons are leaving because the planet and frequency is going up. That's it. The frequency is going up. The demons are leaving. They can't survive here. And there's a lot of different expressions to use this, but our I don't know if I can pick this up on the camera or not. I haven't done this in a couple years. But basically I go, show me the frequency of the planet. Let's say 2000. 2000. Where's the frequency of the planet, please? I'm guessing. Show me. Okay, we look like we're 5-ish. Or 4, whatever. Show me right now the frequency of the planet on my 1 through 10 scale. Going back. I'm not going to get it exact, but it looks like maybe a 7. But there's clearly a difference. Do you see that? So in 20 years, we had a clear increase. Okay, let's go where we are now to show me. Whatever it is, it's a 7. Show me 10 years from now. 10 years, the frequency. Look at that. Look at that. So the next 10 years, we're going to go up like another notch. Another notch. Maybe a notch and a half out of 10. So they can't survive that frequency, but we can. And as we increase our frequency along with the planet, because we're eating good food, we're having the good thoughts, and we're helping out humanity as the best we can, we're going to see and become more sensitive to issues that are galactic, like consciousness. We're going to see more. with all our beings, our emotional body, our spiritual body, and the mental. And you're going to see with all your gifts that everyone has, and depending where you are in the scheme of things, you're going to see more, dream more, have more visions. That's what part of this. We're going to pull back the veil, and we're going to take a look, and then we're going to be stunned. We're going to just be stunned how humanity has been tricked. We're not as bad as they say we are. And so we're going to have to get through this part in our little tiny bit of history here. We're going to have to get through this where the demons are losing. We got this election coming over, and they're going to look like Hillary came out and said they're going to dispute it. And we always had that after the election there would be more friction. And that's probably more violence, more court actions. They're going to go to court. But what turns all that court action off? Basically the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court can just come out. They already have a precedent with Gore. Remember Al Gore and Bush went to the Supreme Court. So that's our precedent. They got away with it then. It's going to go to the Supreme Court, probably. Let's go. Does this go to the Supreme Court? Now it might not. I mean, let's say let's do a probability. What's the probability it goes to the Supreme Court? A lot. It's pretty high. It's about 75-80%. What's the probability again, please? Yeah. And what's the probability? Did Biden have a stroke lately? Yes. Is the real Biden dead? Yes. I came out of nowhere. Is this Biden going to be on the ticket? What's the probability? What's the probability it's going to go all the way back? I tricked you. I tricked you. This answer should be pretty low. There it goes. It's I kind of knew beforehand. It's like 15% chance. You know, even the double or the clone, they're going to move it and put someone else on. Yeah, that's still in play. That's still in play, and we'll see. It's going to be a very trying time, and we're going to have to be careful, be mindful, say all those prayers to keep yourself centered, you know, and do those kind of exercises and do everything you want. I just went for a nice walk this morning with Max, and he had a good time, and that keeps me centered, going out in the parks and things, and swimming, getting in the water, and enjoying organic fruit roast. It wasn't overcharged. That's the thing about O. In the United States, this O is a little bit more reasonable. I was always suspicious of it, but this came through, and I have powdered milk from Walmart. It's basically a 4 powdered milk, so that's really good store food. You get 8 grams of protein for a cup. When you add water, it's a quarter cup, you add water, you get a cup of fluid. That's 8 grams of protein in an emergency. Here's 30 grams. So those both long shelf lives and somewhat economical compared to all those, you know, emergency food producers that, you know, add hundreds and hundreds of dollars to a price tag, and basically it's just basic food. It's probably not that good. When I douse dog food for Max, the dehydrated and the what's the other one? Dehydrated and well, whatever. You take all the water out, you vacuum pack it, and that stuff's terrible. It kills the life force. And let me be clear about this. Most of what I'm talking about is energy, life force energy, which is white light in a way. Christ's light will be the highest, you know, the highest dimensions. So they come from there, and that's why it's so. And that's what we're talking about with food as well. I'm talking about the life force, and basically that parallels organic. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I use them interchangeable, but they're not quite the same. But I get lazy. Thank you very much. I hope you found that helpful. I think we're gonna have a hard time even after the election. I think the rioting part will go off, but we're gonna go forward and we're gonna start getting our country back, and the world's trying to get this world back. Now, finally, I'll go about the Chinese thing. I think the Chinese Communist Party, we're going to see things happening there for the next year or two. It's going to be pretty mind-boggling. I remember where I was when the Berlin Wall fell. You remember that? I was working, and I'm not going to tell you my job. You wouldn't believe it. But I was dealing with a lot of people, and there's a young man, and he was talking, and I mentioned somebody because I came back from break, and I saw them dancing on the Berlin Wall. Everybody at my joint, we never thought that would happen. And we didn't know what the world would be like. Didn't turn out to be much different, did it? Didn't, because the same people always control two sides of the fight. And that's part of what's going to end. That's going to end. But that was one of the surprises that you thought would never be in your lifetime. The Irish Civil War, the IRA, the Protestant Catholic thing up there, that was artificially, obviously done to keep going, to keep turmoil, and we never thought that would find peace, and they found peace. They found peace. And it looks like it's holding. Now the big thing in Ireland is whether to do the Brexit and also the immigration issue is a big issue there too. And pretty soon maybe the indigenous populations will they look like their genetic code is under attack to get rid of Irish, to get rid of Swedes, to get rid of a lot of the European. They want to get rid of them. Doesn't mean that's going to be it. I sense it's not, but that's their goal. And this is other races too. They want to get rid of them. They want to go for this beige race. But in Africa, they don't want a beige race. They like who they are. In Europe, they like who they are. And, when I douse, this is a controversial thing, but God didn't give permission for diversity. All right? And they're always showing on commercials, all these different people, like as couples. They even have transgender couples, and they have gay couples, and they have every different race you can think of going out, tall, thick, it's really, but let's just say this, does a higher dimension frown upon and strongly disapprove of diversity? Yes. Let's do that again. Let's ask it a different way. We'll use a different chart. Negative, positive. Show me how the higher dimensions look upon the elimination of races. It hit me. That's a -10. More so. They are angry, and they will intervene to stop it. You can't eliminate any races. That's rule number 1. Only the divine can eliminate a race. And they have to agree. So none of these races are going anywhere. And it's frowned upon that those in power, that's what they seek to do. They're making a new race, but they don't have permission of the divine. And guess what? The divine doesn't care what you think, and the divine doesn't care what the cabal thinks. Somebody else built all this, and they are in charge. All right? I know that's a controversial one, I know, but I got that all the time. And I can say, oh, but you can see that those who control the culture, you can see it in advertising, in the movies, and in TV shows, and what else. But they're pushing it, and I get it in my comment section. The younger people, they're not asking hard questions. Why? Is this good for us? What is the outcome of this decision and these choices of the culture? And they have a say. They should step back and meditate and go out. It doesn't mean any culture is better. It just means the divine wants it preserved. They made it. Humans are trying to alter it. When we're altering it with, especially in the transgender, you can see them altering with all these drugs they give to kids, and they do those operations. And they're doing, they're trying to change our genetic code. And you know about that, people. And this is how long we live, how we live, put the chip in us, you know, that thing, and it goes on, how they want to alter us. They didn't get approval for any of this. That's Luciferian consciousness. Let's go make a human half horse and half man. No. And as you can see, we had this issue before in humanity. This is nothing new. They're always playing with the genetic codes, and we're not allowed to do that. We're not allowed to do any of this thing. And if we don't self-correct it, other forces probably will, all right? And finally, I think I'll end with that. I read it many, many years ago. What I just said, a lot of the Hindu yogis and gurus, they say the same thing. They don't put it out there. It's one of those things you don't see, but you go, do you think the races should interbreed, let's say, or intermarriage? They frown upon it. And in the 60s, there wasn't so much of it, and those people were generally in love. But now we're trying to they're trying to make it artificially good, like you're hip. You go to the disco and your partner is a different race or something. Well, now they're demanding it. You're a racist if your partner is the same race. You understand? And that part they didn't agree to, and they don't want it to 100% genetic code out there to change the whole race. So I don't know where this is going. It's beyond my pay grade. But I know when you do measure things like that, or you do contemplate it and meditate on it, or you go to other masters and talk about it, there's consistency here. And the average conscious person can't handle it. They don't understand it. They don't understand that we have to have the God principle and element in our life. And then we can see things more clearly, that we are part of the God picture, but we are not really God. We're not God. We're a spark of God. And so and that's all of humanity. And the Luciferians don't think that. They go, well, they're really saying we are God. That we can create new humans, we can destroy, see, they want to destroy this culture and do a new one. But this culture was rough. Wait till you see a prison culture at work, i.e. prison planet. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.